Hi there. It's Eric with AriBo Arts. I'm going to give people a moment to find me. And I'm also going to see if I can get comments to show up. Somebody's watching, I can tell. I'm just looking to see if I can make my comments show up. Come on, there we go. There's comments. Okay. Oh, I got 3 people already. Welcome. I'm going to still wait about another 30 seconds. Roll up my sleeves so I don't end up getting them caught. Okay, it is 2 o'clock in Iowa, which means it's 3 o'clock out east. Okay, and welcome to drum carting with AriBo Arts. Hello, Rachel. I can see comments. Very good. Hopefully, I'm seeing all the comments. Hello, Jill. Jill's watching. Hi, Jill. Jill's in Texas. So I'm here to do a drum carting demo. In a minute, I'm going to introduce you to Sebastian. Sebastian is my drum carter. Right, some of you have seen him before. Hi, Chelsea. I know Chelsea's seen him before, so has Rachel. Okay, but if you read the description that I put up top, you know that I'm going to be making a bat called Ice Storm. Right, some of you have seen Ice Storm before, and I decided I needed more Ice Storm. Okay. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Cheryl. Okay. So, what is Ice Storm? Well, Ice Storm, when you first look at it, is, I don't have one to show you that's done. We'll have one at the end. Is something that looks very, obviously, ice over. Okay. A lot of white, but with hints of other colors underneath, because when you get an ice storm, okay, obviously the colors underneath will show through, but they're hidden a bit, or there might be snow on top, and so forth. And I apologize, my neighbors are home, and so they're kind of noisy. They're moving stuff around. So, it will not surprise you to know that we're going to use a lot of white. Okay. So this is merino top, undyed. Okay. And those of you not familiar with fibers, top is where all of the fibers are aligned in the same direction. So it pulls apart pretty easy. This has got a pretty nice long staple on it. Okay. So this is going to be our majority or base fiber. But to that we're also going to add a couple of merino top solids. Okay, so you think ice, you probably think blue, right? Hi, Julie. Danielle, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, so Rachel has an Ice Storm that she got in my fiber club. So this is Carillion, and this one is Carillion. This is Aquamarine. And both of those make a brief appearance in this third merino top that I'm going to use, which is called Bermuda. It's a mixed, obviously it's got a little bit of red there. Okay. It's got some blue, it's got some of the Carillion in there. Okay. And so this is going to go in there as well. Okay. And because of course ice sparkles, I've got a sparkle pack here. This is from those other fibers I got from Paradise Fibers. This is from Jazz Turtles. I'm going to use the purple, but I'm going to use the blue and the silver. This is Firestar and Angelina. As far as I know, there's no label on it, but I think that's pretty much what's in there. And you can see how that would work nicely to make it sort of icy. Okay? So, let me introduce you to Sebastian, so which means I'm going to move you a little bit. So if you get seasick, close your eyes. Okay, I'll move you back, and I'm going to move you down. Okay, it's a little bit at an angle, but I think you should be able to see everything there. Okay, so this is Sebastian, okay. And Sebastian is the brand is a Classic Carter. They're made in Britain. This is a compact version. So it's a little bit narrower. A normal standard size would be a bit wider. And obviously a wider or double XL, I don't know what they call their larger one, would be even wider. But it's a nice small footprint. It has a smaller feed tray. This is the feed tray. This is the liquor in. This is the drum. Okay. And it's just, you turn it with a crank. I love this because I have not banged my hip on it because the handle pops up. Okay. And it's also high enough sides that I could, but I keep it on the edge. I've got some clamps here holding it down. Because if you put a lot of fiber on here and it gets a little full, it's harder to crank. And so you don't want it to walk away. Right? So I've got it clamped down. Okay. But it's a nice, good solid tool. Okay. And everyone has their favorite drum carders. Okay. This is, if you'll look at the teeth on here, okay, there's a lot of them. This is what's known as 120 TPI, that's teeth per inch, which is pretty fine. Okay. Eventually I'm hoping to get a 72, which will be more spaces between the teeth. Here, sort of fun things, but this is great for alpaca, merino top. You can do lots of other things, but it is a slightly better sized drum for working with finer wools, okay, or alpaca or angora. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing now, I'm just going to sort of show you how I work this. Okay, Ice Storm is a layered bat, okay, which means I'm only going to put it through once on the drum carder, instead of, say, a blended bat, which I would create it once, I would take it off. This is the part where I take it off. This is the doffer line or doffer seam. Okay, and I tend to start here and end here when I put fiber on. And then I would take that and then I would put it through again and blend it up and mix it up. It can give you more subtle color changes and more sort of more muted things, and also blend colors together, because obviously when you mix your colors, you can get new colors out of it. Okay. Now, a couple quick tricks before we get started. You can, some people like to feed everything from the feed tray, hence feed tray. And if you're working with washed fleece, okay, definitely you want to send it through here because you're going to get more carding action. This stuff is really processed. Okay? It doesn't need to be carded because it's compacted. Okay? It's already been processed. I'm doing more of a blending with it and a layering. So I'm going to be applying from the top, which is I call painting. It does give you more control, okay? But I will use the feed tray to put the sparkle in, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is, you're going to see a lot of this white. I'm just going to start laying it down. I start at the seam. I press down here. Yes, these are wires, but as long as you're not going stabbing one little finger onto one little spike, you're okay. If you keep your hand flat, you can put it down there. So it's like using a blending board, but round. And then you just crank. Okay. Pull back, crank, pull back. You get the motion down a little bit. Okay. If I'm holding here, then I sometimes have to move my hand back here. Otherwise, I'm fighting the teeth. And after I put a layer or two down, I will probably pop the camera up so I can read comments again. Now, one thing I haven't been doing, I haven't been watching my back end here. If I have too much loose, the liquor in is going to grab it. It's already starting to grab it back here. So it doesn't get caught. Okay, so just a basic base layer. I'm now going to move on to, I'm trying to decide which one I want to put down first. I think, because they're both in here, I think I'm going to put this one down first. Okay. Now sometimes, if I want more control, I might divide in half. And I will, as the drum gets fuller, I will divide into smaller pieces, but right now it's perfectly fine to have larger chunks go on. notice it's not going everywhere. That's fine. Though perhaps Rachel, who's spinning this particular one, it means that you're not going to get, when you spin it, not every bit that has the white will have this cerulean with it. So we'll give you a more variegated color. So I think I want more. So I'll put a little more on. And I'm going to start up here again. Also seeing, I don't really have, you don't want to always get right to the edge because then things can fall over and get caught on the rods. But I'm going to put a little more out there, I think. Now I'm back to white. And one of the things I also like to do is check here. I can run my finger and say there's a lot here, almost nothing here. A little bit there, more there, there's a bit of a gap, more, less, not very much at all. So it gives me a sense of where I perhaps want to put more, because I'd like the thickness to be somewhat even. It's not going to be perfect, but somewhat even. And that will also, because once I take it off, I tend to fluff it out a little bit. So what I do with Ice Storm is each time I change colors, I add a layer of white in between. And I apologize, I got a zipper on this top and it keeps hitting the table. A little bit more on the far side here. I'll start dividing. It was a lengthwise pull, so it's not quite as broad. Okay, now I do have some bits that are, see, like here, hasn't gone down between the teeth. Okay, so for that I'm going to use this. This is a burnishing brush. Okay. And you can see that the bristles are not straight. They bend this way. Okay. So I don't want to use it with the bristles pointed down that way, okay, because it's going to just pull everything off. I want to go this way so that it pushes the direction of the bristles, pushes it down. Okay. Bo is over in the corner. You may have just heard him. Now, I don't have a lot on here yet, so I'm not going to push really, really hard. And I apologize if you don't like nails on chalkboard sounds. So that just makes sure everything is in between all the teeth. Okay, now I'm going to pop my head under here and see if I can see any questions. Okay, so I don't think anybody's added anything since I last saw that. So now it's time to switch. And the way I do Ice Storm is I alternate. So we have the cerulean. I alternate the solid colors with the multicolor. I'm just going to make that smaller so it doesn't get eaten by the liquor. Okay. Now you can see the red well here, but once I lay it down, it really does blend in. And I don't want to twist it. That's looking pretty well covered. Let's see how the thickness is. I'll probably put a little more over here. Now, I'm going to burnish it again, and there's not only because there's some sticking up, but there's another reason why, and I'll show you in a second. Okay, now if you have and then I always try and stick this underneath so it doesn't get fiber stuck in it. If you have a drum carder that has a packing brush, okay, this one has a removable one that I've taken off, but I didn't like the way it worked. Many times they have ones that come here. It's like kind of like that front part of a vacuum, okay, and that will help pack things down too, so you might not need to use the burnishing brush all that much. Okay. The reason I did it now is because it is now time for sparkle, okay, which means we're going to use the feed tray, but it also means I want to make sure that there's room in the teeth to grab the sparkle that's going to come up. So I've taken this piece of roving, and there's a little bit of vegetable matter because of course it's wool, right? So put that in the trash. And what I do is I'm going to make a sparkle sandwich. Okay. So I fluff it out. Okay. This particular drum carder has these two wooden guides here. So this way the fiber is actually just going on the liquor and not falling down into the void behind it. I'm going to try and get everything going in the same direction. Here's my sparkle. I avoid the purple. Okay. And I'm going to do, first I'm going to pull out some of the silver here. Okay. I try to find something near the beginning, and then I pull out so that once again it's going the same way, it's aligned with the fiber, because I don't want it to make a ball, because then it's just going to make a ball. I mean, it might pull apart, but it might make it also a tangled mess, okay? And that's going to be no fun to spin, right? You've got a ceiling fan on. It's glitter essentially, and could go everywhere. So I put down a bunch of silver. I'll put a little more right there. I think I want a little bit more right here. Okay. And now I'm going to try and get some blue while avoiding the purple. Okay. Now, there used to be a lot of blue Firestar in here, but I used it in the other bats. So, oh, I see some down the bottom here. Okay, there's blue and white, but I think I can use both of those. So anything I pull out over this, so if pieces fall, they just add to that. Now that's folded over, so I'm going to try and unfold it like that. Okay. And pull out not huge chunks, but you're not going to do individual strands either. That's not going to give you anywhere. Now, all of this is different types of nylon, okay? So prepared and treated differently. So the stuff that looks like tinsel will be the shiniest. The Firestar is a little more matte in finish, but it will still catch the light. I also recommend that you, in winter, moisturize your hands before doing this, because otherwise if you've got little, catches on your fingers, you're going to have Firestar and Angelina stuck to you. Okay, pull a bit of silver off, see if I can find the end. Okay. Now I'm very meticulous about this. Some people just grab a handful and just toss it off. You can do that too. Okay. Everybody drum card's different. Now, the next thing is to remember to close this so you don't knock it over and end up with it all over the floor. Tell me how I know that. Just guess. Okay. So now I'm going to make the top of the sandwich. Because I don't want to have any thick clumps, because it will make it harder to go through. Okay, so now my sandwich is there. I'm going to grab one of my tools. This actually came with, this is a porcupine quill. Okay, but you could use a small number knitting needle as well. Okay, and I have to remember not to put that in my mouth because I can't pop it in my mouth. Okay. I'm going to put my hand here just to keep the top on, but not to pull it back, just to guide it. And now I crank. And what's going to happen, you're going to start to see, watch in here, you can start to see some's coming up here, some is starting to attach here, but some is on the liquor. Okay? And some people just keep cranking. I like a really clean liquor. I don't want to waste anything. Okay? So I'm going to pick this out and drape it here, and then I use the porcupine quill to push it between the teeth, because otherwise it's just going to get grabbed by the liquor when it comes around the bottom, right? So there's one more there. And the stuff here that hasn't quite decided where it's going, I'm going to tap it over that way. There we go. So that should encourage everything to go onto the drum. Okay. Now I'm just going to check the end here, maybe pull back just a little bit, because this is still aligned, so it's still going to go pretty much everywhere. But like this piece over here, I'll keep it there. We can sort of see, do we end up with a lot here, or does it travel over here? Okay, you have less control when it's coming out of the feed tray. You also want to go slow, because not only does it let you check what everything's doing, like I say, I need to stop and fix that there. It also lets me see, well, this is bunching up. Let's pull that back and out, because otherwise we'll have just a huge glob. Yep, you can tell I didn't pull enough back. It's full, because there isn't much space between the liquor and the drum. Can you see the sparkle? Look at all that sparkle right in there. It's ice syrup. We want lots of sparkle. I'm going to make sure that's all in there, because if it doesn't stay in between, it's going to all fall out underneath. Now I'm going to grab some more white. And cover it up. testing here again. I always tend to have the most right there. It always happens. Now, however much white you end up putting on, so the more white you put on, the more diluted the other colors are going to be. And one of my next projects is going to be a color wheel. I mean, I've got one in my head, but a color wheel is great for being able to tell, well, if I'm going to be mixing colors, they're separate in strands like this, but when I get them blended on the carder, what's it going to look like, right? So let's see if we've got anything else. Hi, Marge. I'm going to pop you guys up just for a second, but I can't read at this angle. Hi there. Okay, hi, Marge. So what type of carder? It's a classic carder. They're British made. Yes, that's where Susan's Fiber Shop. Yes. Okay. Yeah, porcupine quill comes with it, and let's see, when reproducing a bat, I can. It depends on the bats I'm making. Like my sock bats, where I want them to be 2.2 ounces, I will weigh everything. Otherwise, I'm much more freeform. I do it in the layers. There are some that, if a customer requests it, I will weigh everything out so it's replicating. But otherwise, I know roughly, they're going to be probably within half an ounce of each other. So, let's see if I've missed anyone else. Oh, thank you. I think it's very pretty as well. Okay. So I haven't missed anybody. Okay, so let's get you repositioned again. Oops, I think I got too much of an angle there. Let's see. I've got there's sort of a snake at the top of this. Okay, hopefully that should be well enough. As long as you can see my hands. Yes, okay. So we've got the sparkle in there. We've got a little more white. So it's time for aquamarine. Okay. And for aquamarine, I'm going to break it up as well. Start here at the beginning and just put on. It's just in case if I ended there, I try and start right where I ended. Such a great blue. And now I'm just going to sort of go through and fill in the broader white spaces. Now sometimes, like right here, one of the reasons we're getting so much white is there's already so much fiber on here. So there isn't much room to take on a lot more fiber, and I still have a couple more layers to go. Yeah, that's the section I always put too much in. Okay, so back time for a little more white. You know, each time you'll see this comes up, it looks different, doesn't it? Okay, so still thick here, a little thinner there. I'm going to put a little more white. Not a lot, though. Back to our mixed roving. We're getting closer to the end. We've only got 2 more layers to go. So this is one of them. Bit more. Okay, so you can still see it's got a little bit higher here. There's a little bit of a gap here, but otherwise it's fairly even. And if I look from the side, there's still room to put more fiber on there. Technically, I think this one is supposed to hold like 2.5 ounces or something like that, and I've had bats that are 3.3, I think is the biggest I've gotten on here. I probably could have gotten more. Now, because there isn't as much room on the drum, what I'll probably do is I'm going to make another sparkle sandwich. But I'm going to take this last little section off to make it thinner. Bo just woke up. But he's found where I moved his food dishes to, so he's happy. Okay, so there's that. We'll get out our sparkle again. Okay. So pull out some of the silver. So that one just doesn't want to uncurl. This is the fire star. Now let's pull out, I think a tiny bit of the purple might actually be okay. I really want more of the blue. So let's grab, it's hard to find, there it is. Marge, is this enough sparkle? We know Marge likes her sparkle. I feel like it needs still more glitter. So I'm going to pull some of the silver. Sort of tinsel-like. Okay, there we go. There's a lot of sparkle. Okay. Remember to seal it up. Once again, I'm going to put the top on, but I'm going to take a little bit of it away. There's our top. Got our porcupine quill ready. Done a huge clump, so I think I'll divide that. Okay, and it's starting to bunch up a little bit back here, so I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Also, by doing that, it means I won't end up with just white here. It will actually go all the way around the drum. Okay, and I can already see some bits that don't want to come up. Essentially, what this is meaning is that the drum is pretty full. When things really start getting picked up by the liquor. The sparkle has started to come up. Sound effects. And you can see there's some little clumps there. Now, you can see all the sparkle. You can see some bits here. Okay. But here's the thing about sparkle, is it's nylon, it's slippery. Okay? So even though we made that sandwich got stretched out and sort of pulled apart. And so you don't want all the sparkle to fall out, particularly when I start fluffing. And it is an ice storm, right? So we're going to add a little more white, but not a solid white. You guys may get to see Bo in a second. He's fed and watered himself, and now he's wanting to know what's going on. to put more weight, but don't think that fit. I probably get a little more. I think we're done. We are done. So I'm going to move you guys back. Close your eyes if you get seasick. And pop you up. See if there's any more comments. Oops, hang on. Got to tighten that so you don't slide. Let's see. You always need another fiber tool. Rachel, you're talking people into buying drum cutters. We're going to see if there's other questions. Thank you, Donna. If I miss any of your questions, I'll also respond afterwards. I'm going to take this off so we can see what it looks like. Okay. And so to do that, pretty much every drum cutter you buy will come with a doffer stick of some variety. Okay, I'll move it back so you can sort of see it. And my messy fiber corner back over there. So that point right here, okay, where the doffer line is, that's where I'm going to take it off. Okay. Some have these nice little hooks on the end. This doesn't. Let's see if I can, nope. Remember, you're in the back half. Well, you're in my bedroom, and so we're working around furniture. So there's a groove here, okay, and no more than an inch. Okay. I remember the first time I tried to do it, I stuck the whole thing in and tried to pull it off. You really work your muscles. Okay. So you pull up, and in my case, pull to the right, and then I also grab it and pull. So I end up with sort of this tail here. Whoa, you guys fell. Okay, hang on. You're on this snake. Let's see if I can get this up better. No, hang on. See if that works. Sorry for the slide there. So here's the tail. Okay. So that on the left side of the doffer crease here, it's only very short pieces left, because to get this off, this side needs to go past the liquor again. And if I have long pieces like this sticking off, guess what the liquor is going to do? Okay, the liquor is going to pull it all off. Okay. So I'll do that again. Just work my way across. Ooh, not to sparkle. I don't know if you can see it from the camera, but you can sort of see the layers on the side there, where here's the Carillion, here's the Bermuda, there's the green, Bermuda again, and then the sparkles. See, even this bit's a little bit longer. Get to work your arm muscles. Yes. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I think you can sort of see that from here, I'm not going to pull it out so you can sort of hopefully see it, is all these little bits on the left, I'm actually going to press them back down, so my thumb is essentially going back into the doffer crease here. Let's see if you can see it that way. So that they're down between the teeth, not sticking up for the liquor to grab. Okay. That's just going to make it so much easier to get it off. Okay. Now you're going to see my back for a minute. Look, there's sparkle, glitter. Okay. So I'm going to roll. I have the porcupine quill here for you that don't want to come off. I'm going to roll this forward. Okay. And you can buy these little wrap things or make your own little wraps, plastic or whatever, little shower curtain. I usually just grab like this. I don't just the edges, but you want the whole thing. Okay. And I pull up and out. Okay. So you can see there's the back side. Now I'm going to roll forward, and I'm going to roll that edge. Sorry, looks like a little DW40 or something is needed. Okay. Keep pulling. Okay, this is where we start taking bets on the weight. What do you think the weight is? Okay. Now, if you can see down here, you can see the doffers coming up again. Okay. But there's not a lot that goes over and crosses it. So I don't even have to use this. Using merino top means that you almost never have to use the porcupine quill. So I'm going to straighten you up. Hi there. Okay. And this is the back side. This is the front side. Okay. And see if I tilt you down just a little. Hopefully you won't go tipping to the side again. Okay. Show you how I fluff. I don't think there's anything there to catch it. Okay. Is take the ends, okay, and I just gently uncompact them. Okay. Just a light little fluff. Okay. Now, if I was to blend this, if I wanted a blended bat, I could then, use this segment, just rip it up, send it through again. Okay, and instead of having the layers of color, things would be much more blended. Now I'm just going to sort of pull to the side a little bit. And then I fold. Those of you who follow me, those of you on the Facebook page for the business, know I recently bought new bat bags that are smaller, so I have to fold a lot instead of just a little bit. Okay. So what I then do though is I feel here, it's kind of thick there, so I tease out just a little. My fingers are way under there. Okay. So those thicker bits, it's also going to let the layers down below peek through. And I'm going to take not totally flat here, so take the top edge, fold this back down a little, and fold over, and then feel again. So there's a compact, it's thicker there, and then I roll. And And there we have an ice storm bat. Now, if people have been guessing on the weights, okay, how much do you think this is going to weigh? This is pretty. It's all merino. I froze there. Nice and squishy. So let's figure this out. Got my scale. And we'll tear it out. Because I got other things in my Cool Whip top, right? And then I sort of stand that up in there. Okay, what are your guesses? Melanie, you have high hopes for my... remember, it's only rated for like 2.5, right? Ours rated is 3.3. Okay. Deanna, so far you are the closest because it is 3.309 ounces. Okay. You can get a lot of merino top on this baby. This is Sebastian. Sebastian eats a lot. Okay. So, yeah, so we were 3.3 ounces. Okay. And there's some more ice storm. Okay. So, I will afterwards go back. We're one of the things we're doing in this demo is we're actually passing. If you're watching on AriBo Arts or if you're watching on Woolen Fiber Arts, if I respond on Woolen Fiber Arts, I'll be probably responding as Woolen Fiber Arts, so I'll try and put my name in parentheses so you know it's me and not somebody else. Okay, but otherwise, I will go through, read your comments, the ones I didn't get to while I was live. Thank you all for showing up. I love doing these demos. They're so much fun. So thank you all for coming. I mean, God, we ended up with like over 40 people. I'm impressed. Okay. You all have a wonderful last week of 2020. I don't want to jinx anything, but hopefully things just go up and up. Oh, hang on. And up and up. Let me do this. See if I can do it. Can I turn it? Can I turn it? There we go. Yeah, you. You're on camera. Okay. He doesn't care. Okay. You guys all take care. Bye-bye.